Welcome to Ready Bet Action NFL Week 1. Man, we are excited to talk about some NFL this week. It is finally here. We've been coming to you with college football already, but we love some NFL football action, and we are excited to talk about it today. Just want to remind everyone that we are partnered with RotoViz again. You may be listening to us there off their site, which is great. If that's the case, go follow us on YouTube and on Instagram. If you haven't, if you're someone, and all the podcasts. If you're finding us other places, make sure to go check out RotoViz. Great fantasy football website. We'll talk about some of their tools today as we dive in. So let's get started. We don't actually have any picks for the opening game, so we're not going to talk about that game. I think a lot of the value's out of it. If y'all had to pick maybe a game that you're most excited for this weekend, what would that be, Mike?
I mean, my easy play is Falcons Bucks. Like, that's just always such an exciting game.
It is.
But I'll say, I think a storyline I'm intrigued by that I haven't seen a lot of chatter about is the fact that Justin Fields and Aaron Rodgers are playing against the previous teams this weekend.
Yeah.
So that could be a fun one of I don't know, maybe 7 points total scored. And then the Lions Packers. That's always a fantastic matchup as well. So I'm excited to see that one play out.
Yeah, those are all quality. Stefan, what about you?
Baltimore Buffalo, man. Does it get any bigger than this? I mean, this is huge, and it's week 1. It's crazy. But then we've got some division rivalry games. We've got Seattle, San Francisco, which is really big. You already mentioned Atlanta. We've got the Giants in Washington. Also, I mean, not exciting, but interesting, right? Interesting. And then that Friday night standalone game in Brazil, Chiefs-Chargers, super intrigued.
Yeah, Chiefs-Chargers is probably the most interesting. You know, I'm a Broncos fan. They are easily my top Survivor pick. I'm not getting cute. I'm taking the Broncos against the Titans in Survivor this week. So while I'm excited for my team to start, I am more excited for Chiefs and Chargers because this is by far, like, not even close, the most competitive, toughest AFC division, that AFC West division that Patrick Mahomes has had to play in. This man has had, look, I don't want to be too much of a hater because I give the credit to the 3 Super Bowls. Like, he's going to go down as one of the greatest ever. But this man has had a cakewalk of a division his entire career. Like, one of the worst divisions in football he has got to play in. That is not the case this year. There are real teams, big hitter. Every coach in this division has taken someone to a Super Bowl. Like, this is awesome. I am so excited. I want to see the Chargers go out there and just see what the AFC West is going to look like this year. So
I love how Patrick Mahomes lives rent-free in your brain.
Oh, dude, I hate him and Travis Kelce so much. I'm not a Taylor Swift hater either. Like, I want bad things to happen to them all the time, but we won't get into that. We will get into these games. We're going to start with that Chiefs-Chargers game. Though, as we've mentioned, this is in Brazil, so that's important. I am constantly guilty with all these international games. I'll wake up on like a Sunday morning and some game I picked what I thought was the home team is at like halftime at 9 a.m. and I'm like, what's going on here? So if you're watching the Chiefs-Chargers game, you're like, what stadium is this? They're in Brazil, so we got a neutral site game, international. I'll get us kicked off. I am big. This is my favorite pick of the week. Give me the Chiefs and Chargers under 45.5. We only have 2 data points of these head coaches playing each other from last year with these teams. Those totals were 27 and 36. Under 45.5 feels like a big number to me for a Jim Harbaugh team who loves to run the rock and who is just going to try to control and keep the ball away from Patrick Mahomes. And they do it pretty successfully. I know they got that big offensive line injury in the preseason. That was a bummer, but like, they're still going to run pretty successfully. It's Jim Harbaugh. It's what he does. Under 45.5 for me and Chiefs Chargers. Mike, I think you feel similarly.
Yeah, I had the same play as well, partially because they're playing in Brazil, but mostly because you've got 2 really good defenses playing against each other. Last year, the Chiefs were number 5 in points allowed, allowing 20.5 points a game. The Chargers were quietly number 2 in points allowed, allowing 18.5 a game. And so I just expect both of these teams to come in here with the mindset of we're going to do whatever it takes to win and nothing else, nothing additional. The Chiefs, even with them making it to the Super Bowl last year, their average margin of victory across the entire season last year was only 6.9 points. They had a lot of 1-score games, especially in the top half of the season. So I don't expect either of these teams to come out with fireworks, especially as much as Jim Harbaugh wants to run the ball. And so I just expect it to be a slow game. The last 3 times these two teams have played each other, not a single team has scored more than 20 points. So I like for that trend here to continue.
Yep, absolutely. Rashee Rice also suspended. I know Patrick Mahomes will probably just end up finding receivers, but Rashee Rice not playing for the Chiefs. So
I am curious, what are your guys' thoughts on the Chargers defense now that they lost Joey Bosa?
I mean, it's you can't say that's not a huge loss.
Totally.
I don't know. I also just feel like Jim Harbaugh's teams are going to find ways to be a stout defensive team and a running the ball team. So I think they'll be okay, but you can't say it's not a huge loss, especially when you have to play Patrick Mahomes. Like, you have to have a great pass rusher.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I don't know if they return as the number 2 defense in terms of points allowed, but
as a Broncos fan who needs to win that,
sure.
As a Broncos fan who needs to win the wild card and either win this division or get second, I hope they don't have the number 2 defense.
The Broncos are going to have the number 1 defense this year.
We are going to have the number 1 defense. That I can say with confidence. All right, Stefan, you got thoughts on this game, though. You have a favorite.
Yeah, and this is going to be real. This is hot takey. Is it possible that Rashee Rice being out of this game is a good thing for the Kansas City Chiefs, as it gives the opportunity for Xavier Worthy to be a centerpiece of this offense? We made money hand over fist playing this guy's lines. I think we even played some of his rushing lines last year and cashed those. He is incredible. I'm excited to watch him play, especially the beginning of the season with Rashee Rice out and him being a focal point. I think they're going to get him involved creatively. I think I meant to have his player prop as one of my bets, and I forgot it. But you can get the 60 plus is at like -120, -130, right around there. So 60 plus receiving yards, I like that. But I like the Chiefs -3 in general. The Chargers continue to be a fun story. I mean, got the man behind me here. But until it happens, it's hard for me to actually to see it. I want Herbert to really deliver in big games. I think until Mahomes is, no longer top dog in the AFC, I'm going to keep riding with them. I know they weren't great against the spread last year, but a lot of those numbers were a heck of a lot bigger than 3 points. So the fact that this is still within a field goal to me, I'm going to take the Chiefs. But the real reason is the two of my favorite handicappers, Mike McClure and RJ White, are both on the Chiefs. And so I'm like, oh, look, they're both on the Chiefs. I'll go on the Chiefs too.
So we're just riding the
real deep dive into all that. But no, I'm Chiefs -3.
Awesome. Well, that is the first game. Let's move on. All right. I will kind of dive into the next set of picks. I'm going to give us a little money line parlay. I've hit these in college football last week. So we're going to go with betting against the 2 worst teams in the NFL. I think pretty definitively. There might be a little bit of competition for worst teams. So we're going to take some teams that are playing them. We're going to take the Cardinals on the money line. They are visiting the Saints, who as soon as they announced Spencer Rattler as the quarterback, I was like, how much can I bet the Cardinals to win this game? So give me the Cardinals to win. Plus, give me the Broncos. Like I said, these are 2 popular survivor picks this week. 2 teams that should win in week 1 against very bad teams. The Titans had the number 1 pick for a reason. I know they had Cam Ward. I'm sorry. I don't care if Cam Ward is the next Patrick Mahomes. First game against the number 1 defense is not a great place to be playing for him. So yeah, it's at -143. It's a little juicy, but I love these 2 picks to just win the game. Any
I got
thoughts?
nothing. It's
Nothing.
safe.
You're like, hey, no one's going to disagree that the Saints and Titans are atrocious. All right.
No.
Yeah. My only thought was, didn't like a bunch of people Survivor pick week 1 go up in flames last year?
It doesn't happen a lot, but it was like a really bad one. Like it was.
Yeah.
I think the Patriots were the ones who won, and I forgot who they beat, but they beat like
Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And because in theory, I love this play. One of the things that I'm steering away from to start, we'll see where I land on this, but to start with the NFL is I'm not doing many parlays because of the parity in the league and needing both teams to hit. But that being said, you are picking, I think, the 2 teams with the largest spreads.
Yes.
So
these are both teased down
good
by about 8 points. Yeah.
It feels good. It feels like it should hit.
Yep. All right. Well, Steve, why don't you hit us? Why don't you talk to us about your Jacksonville Jaguars? You got a couple picks.
Yes. So interestingly enough, we get to see 2 of the absolute worst defenses from last year go up against each other. I think they were both in like bottom 5 in like points per game and points over expectation, all that kind of stuff. All the stats that you don't want associated to your defense were associated to both of these defenses. Here's the difference to me, though. Jacksonville in the offseason went out and got a new coach in Liam Cohen, which, typically first week as a brand new coach in the NFL at 30, what is he, 22 years old? Like the guy's young, 37, 35, something like that.
Something like that.
Anyway, usually I'm not going to back a coach like that at that position, but going against Carolina, that defense is going to give them a lot. And they did way more in the offseason. This is what I was trying to get to address their offense than Carolina did. So you bring in Travis Hunter, Brian Thomas Jr. is excellent. The Jaguars have a very deep stable of running backs. I just think I trust the Jacksonville offense an awful lot more than I trust Carolina's. We did talk about Teteroa McMillan on our player props, so I do think he is going to be fun for fantasy football and DFS. I think he might even get going this game. In fact, I have 2 plays on this game. I'm also taking the over. What's the number I have here? Over 45 and a half. Yep. So in the past, I probably would have done like a same game parlay, Jacksonville money line and like over 41 and a half. But I'm just going to do this one separately because I do think both hit. But just in case Jacksonville like screws it up like they tend to do and throws a pick 6 with like 2 seconds left to lose the game, I don't want both my picks on the same one. So I'm going to separate them out. But I see a lot of points in this one. Both defenses are going to struggle. I like Trevor Lawrence in DFS an awful lot. Brian Thomas Jr. I think is going to be very exciting. And Travis Hunter, I expect to be fairly under-owned this year outside of maybe in Colorado. To start the year. I like his player props as well. So I'm all in on this Carolina-Jacksonville game. I didn't say it off the top because like when you asked Eric, because I figured not very many people are, but for betting purposes, for DFS purposes, for like lots of offense and not much defense, I think this could be a pretty fun game.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. I'll be watching Travis Hunter where I can on Red Zone is how I can watch that this week. It's not going to be the most
with commercials. That news pissed me off.
It's brutal. It's brutal. I'm still going to pay for it and watch it. Like,
of course,
100%. Yes, obviously.
Like, it doesn't like, and they know that. Like, they absolutely know that. All right. Well, we've both talked about our teams. Stefan and myself have picked our teams, and what could possibly go wrong picking your own team and putting money on them? And like, what could make your mental health worse than losing those bets? But we're going for it anyways. Mike, talk about your team and the pick you have for your Falcons.
Yeah, I'm going to go Falcons plus 7.5 against the Bucks, and I'm going to parlay that with the Bengals on the money line. You can get this at minus 116. Falcons Bucks. This is a rivalry that is 9 times out of 10 within a single score. Both of these teams always show up and really bring their best for this game, especially with it also being a division game as well. Last year, the first one went to overtime. The second one was decided by 5 points. Since 2021, this game has been decided by more than 7.5 points twice. First division game of the year, you got to think these guys have been preparing all offseason with one thing in mind, and that's taking down the rivals. So no matter
Getting Kyle Pitts in the end zone is what's on
baby.
mind.
Kyle Pitts was like the number 6 pick of our fantasy draft last night in our auction league. By the way.
Oh, auction.
Yeah. Okay. I think
it's a bunch of Falcons fans though, so it's fair, right?
Yeah,
isn't it a bunch of Georgia boys?
It is. Well, he went for $1 whole. So yeah, Falcons plus 7.5. I just think the division rivalry is just going to bring out a really good game here. And then Bengals on the money line. Talked a lot about why I like the Bengals. You got a healthy Joe Burrow for the first time since he came into the season. Yep. But there's so much talk about how bad the Bengals are to start the season. Since 2004, the Browns have won 2 season openers, and that was in 2022 and 2023. That's 2 and 21, whatever the math is there. Like, that's insane to me. And then you add on the fact that the Bengals just have the better team. I don't see a way in which Joe Flacco can actually come in and actually win a season opener. So Falcons plus 7.5, Bengals on the money line. You can get that at minus 116.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. We are handing out parlays left and right. Nothing could possibly go wrong.
I do like that Cincy side too. I've seen a couple of sharps on Cleveland plus 5.5, but there's no way Cleveland actually wins that game, right?
No.
Like Cincinnati's got to win that. Yeah, their defense is a bit suspect, but it's going to be fun. I mean, speaking of DFS, Jamar Chase is pretty cheap this week. Get him while you still can. Like, he's easy to smash in there. And then Chase Brown, I expect him to have a huge week, a huge year in fantasy. Yep. I think another player whose prop I was looking at, but I didn't pull the trigger on it. But
his receiving line's only at like 20 yards right now, and I was so close to jumping on it, but ended up backing out.
Yep. That's awesome. We're going to talk more about player props here in a little bit, so stay tuned. I'm going to jump to my last pick. I'm going to take the Vikings money line against the Bears. They're like a 1.5 favorite right now. It's in Chicago. Monday Night Football at minus 125. The reason why they're not bigger favorites is because they're rolling out a rookie quarterback. I totally get that. I get like why starting a rookie quarterback on the road maybe isn't a great popular pick. I don't believe in the Bears. I don't believe in Caleb Williams. I do believe in Kevin O'Connell, who is the Vikings coach, and we talked about him in the NFC show. I think he is a really good coach, and I think JJ McCarthy, if he can just have a decent game, if he can have a Bo Nix type rookie year, the Vikings, I think, win this going away if he can come in and just have a solid game against the Bears. I don't trust the Bears, and like they're gonna have to they'll have to show it to me. I'm not gonna trust the Bears until I do. So I will bet against the Bears happily, especially with how bad Caleb Williams and that offense has looked. So
I mean, I know what you mean saying JJ McCarthy being a rookie. Obviously, rookie season last year, but out with an injury all year. So zero career starts. But he was in Minnesota learning that offense last year. Like, he's been around. Sam Darnold, I think, is a pretty good person to learn from. Totally. So, yeah, I like J.J. McCarthy. I'm not out on Caleb Williams, but to your point, Eric, going to have to see it before I'm backing them with any money. Yeah,
absolutely.
This is a line that I saw and was really surprised by, though. Like, I would have thought minus 3.5, something like that. So, stinky lines in week 1 scare the shit out of me. It's going to be an interesting game. I actually think it'll be a sneaky good Monday Night Football game. But Mike, why don't you tell us? You got another parlay for us, and we're gonna go back to. We're gonna stay in the NFC North, but also go back to the Chiefs game.
Yeah, I got a little road teaser. You guys know I like a good tease. I'm gonna go Lions plus 8.5 at the Packers. With going back to the Chargers-Chiefs game, taking the Chargers at plus 9.5 at the Chiefs. You can get this at minus 123. Only additional thing I'm going to say about the Chiefs-Chargers game is that in all of last year, the Chiefs beat 2 teams by 10 or more points, and they did not win a single division game by more than 7. So give me that up to plus 9.5. I love that one a lot. The Lions-Packers. This is another one. This is just always a really, really good game. On top of that, I mean, we do expect the Lions to take a step back, and we expect the Packers to take a step forward. We talked about in the NFC preview show. However, since the Lions had their big turnaround in 2023, they've been 4-1 against the Packers. In their last 5 season openers, the Lions have only lost 1 game by more than 8. So I just expect this to be another really good game. I mean, it's the NFL. 9 times out of 10, it's a 1-score game anyways. So Give me plus 8.5. Give me another point of cushion there. So yeah, minus 123.
Love it. Stave, why don't we wrap up our game picks with this final Jets Steelers pick?
Yeah, this is another one where the line kind of surprised me. I thought the wrong team was favored. I'm going to take the New York Jets at home, getting 3 points against an overrated Steelers team. The only edge, in my opinion, that the Steelers have is in the head coach position. I like the Jets everywhere else. I like Fields more than Rodgers. I mean, y'all heard me shit all over Aaron Rodgers in our preview. I'm down on the Steelers this year. I'm not high on the Jets by any means, but at home, season opener, I think Justin Fields gets it done. I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. I think both offenses really struggle at times. So those in those low-scoring games, points are at a premium. Getting 3 at home just feels great with the Jets. So gonna go ahead. I hope this is the only time I'm backing the Jets, though. By the way, because it feels gross, but we're doing it.
Famous last words. I love fading the Steelers mostly because I hate both the Steelers and Aaron Rodgers. So I like this pick.
Yeah. I don't know how much. It may be too much of my motivation, and that was just trying to find a way to fade Aaron Rodgers this week.
We are going to wrap up the show with player props, and by that I mean we're going to dive into about 4 that we have today. I don't have any props this week. I love player props. You'll see me pick them the rest of the season. I'm staying away from player props in week 1 myself because I am unsure of the type of shape these guys are in. I don't know exactly like the type of shape that people they're playing are in. Like there's too much to me in the first 3 weeks of the NFL that is just so different from weeks like 4 to 17 that player prop data is really hard for me because I don't feel like the first 3 weeks are the same as comparing to maybe what they did last year, for example, in weeks 4 to 17. So that's my reasoning. I'm a coward. Mike, why don't you start with the player props and tell us why you have player props?
I don't hate it. I mean, I can guarantee I'll lose more player props than I will at the end of the season. But at the same time, like when I start the season with player props, I typically go to the guys that you have consistent history with. Part of that being Derrick Henry, anytime touchdown, minus 155. To start the season last year, he put up 15 touchdowns in 13 games. He's played the Bills 6 times in his career, and he's scored in every single one of those games. He's getting old. He's 31. You expect him to slow down as the year goes on. So bet him while he's fresh before he gets beat down. So I don't know if you'll get this number any lower than 170 the rest of the season if he scores this game. So you might as well get it while you can get it when it's worth playing it. So I'm going to go ahead and take it at minus 155.
Yeah, that's about the best
Love that play.
Henry juice you can get. Absolutely. Stefan, what about you? Kick us off. Give us your player. You have 1 player prop for us. Then
I've got 1. We're going to go with Jonathan Taylor. I'm actually writing up an article for this over on RotoViz, so you want to check that out. I like Jonathan Taylor I'm trying to add it to our screen here. I like Jonathan Taylor to eclipse his rushing prop of 78.5 yards. If you look at this image that I have up on the screen here, if you're on YouTube, if you listen on the podcast, I've opened up RotoViz, the NFL Stats Explorer, and one of the cool things that you can look at is a player's stats as compared to the market. So everything in green is good. And in this diagram, you can see where Jonathan Taylor finished as a top 12 running back in PPR last year. But I can also scroll down here on the left and just look at rushing yards. When you look at the rushing yards, you can see he had a couple huge blow-up games. But most importantly for this stat that I'm looking at is he eclipsed the 78 number in 10 out of 14 games last year. So he really did do a number against this 78.5 rushing yards. So I really like that. A little bit more context. The Dolphins were a pretty good rush defense last year. None of us are expecting that to carry over a whole lot. Let's add some more context. Daniel Jones is now the quarterback. Since he was named the starter, this number actually dropped from 80 to 78.5. So we got it dropped to 76. It's now been bet back up to 78. So get it now because I do think it's going to climb back up over 80 where it was originally. If you look at the depth behind Jonathan Taylor, you've got DJ Giddens, a rookie. I don't think he's going to get a whole lot of work. And then Tyler Goodson in his third year is coming off an elbow injury. He's not expected to play much. He was practicing again yesterday. But I just think Jonathan Taylor is going to get the bulk of the work here. Yeah. He averages closer to 90 yards. I like laddering this. If you want to join me, you can ladder this over 90 yards at plus 139, and a 100-yard rushing game is at plus 205. I'm down on the Dolphins this year. I think Indianapolis needs to get their wins where they can. This is going to be an opportunity, and the best way to do that is going to be running the football with Jonathan Taylor. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot from the passing game. I think Daniel Jones might get a little bit with his legs, but I think Jonathan Taylor, this could be one of those games. Yeah. He had a 200-yard running game last year. I think he eclipses 100. I'm definitely taking 78.5 as my official play, but personally, laddering this one to 100 as well.
Yeah, another one, you're not going to get him under 80. It's just like the Derrick Henry pick. You're not going to get Jonathan Taylor under 80 many times this year. So I like that as well. Mike, hit us with your next one.
Yeah, I'm going to go back to another vet play here. I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey over 75.5 rushing yards against Seattle. Had a calf strain last year, turned into Achilles tendonitis, ended up missing all but 4 games. But one of those 4 games, he played Seattle. He hit this number. Reports are saying that he's currently looking like his 2023 self. You know, reports say a lot of things, so we'll see if that's actually true here coming up in a few days. But in 2023, he hit this number in 11 games, including going for 145 yards against Seattle. Seattle gave up over 120 rushing yards a game last year. CMC has played Seattle 6 times, and he's gone over this number in 5 of his 6 games against Seattle. This is another one. You're not getting this below 75.5. Again, his number is usually up closer to 100. So take it while you can get it low. If he's still injured and they're hiding it, then yeah, maybe this doesn't hit, but you might as well take a shot while you can get it at 75.5.
Yep. That's great. All right. Hit us with your last one. Ya boy.
My boy, Drake London. Took his season over. We're going to kick it off right here in game 1. We're going over 78.5 receiving yards, minus 110. The Bucs, they gave up a lot of passes over the middle of the field. Drake London shines there. Michael Penix shines there. With Penix, last year, he only played in 3 games with him, but he averaged, I think it was 13 targets a game and went over 102 of these. As a whole last year in 17 games, he averaged 9 targets a game. I don't care who the quarterback is. This dude is getting targets. They want to get him the football. He's put up 154 yards once against Tampa last year. He's put up over 103 of his last 5 against Tampa as a whole. So he's got the history against Tampa. He's just a stud. He's coming in healthy and fresh, and I think he and Penix really do get off to a good start here. So over 78.5 is my final play.
Awesome. That's it for player props. You have made it to the part of the show where we run it down. We're going to talk through our game picks. We're going to talk through our player props, and we're going to give them to you very quickly. Before I do that, do not forget to follow us wherever you get your podcasts, YouTube, Instagram, and over on RotoViz. Excited to make some money this weekend. Let's go ahead and run it down. I've got the Chiefs and the Chargers under 45.5. Give me a parlay of the Cardinals and Broncos to both win. That gets you to minus 143. I will also take the Vikings on the money line at Chicago on Monday night.
I'm going to take Lions plus 8.5 against the Packers with the Chargers plus 9.5 against the Chiefs at minus 123. Also taking the Chiefs and Chargers under 45.5. They were there at minus 110. And then give me a parlay of Falcons plus 7.5 against the Bucs with the Bengals on the money line at minus 116.
All right. I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs minus 3 at the Chargers. In the Carolina-Jacksonville game, give me Jacksonville minus 2.5. And then I also want the over in that game, a little double dipping right there on that game. And then Pittsburgh at the Jets. We're going to take the Jets plus 3.
For player props, I've got Drake London going over 78.5 receiving yards, a Derrick Henry anytime touchdown, and Christian McCaffrey over 75.5 rushing yards.
And I'm on Jonathan Taylor over 78.5 rush yards.
Lovely. That is how we are going to make money this weekend. Football is back, a full slate, college and NFL. Go check out the college episodes if you have time. And then make sure to check out our NFL season episodes too, if you have time to do that before the games really get going this weekend. We will talk to you all later.
Peace.